They won't tell you this in school. They won't whisper it in boardrooms or shout it from stages. But the truth, the raw, unfiltered truth, is this. Your life is waiting for you to claim it. Not tomorrow. Not when the timing feels right. Not when the stars align or the world finally sees your worth. Now, right now, in this breath, in this heartbeat. Because the world doesn't reward potential, it rewards proof. And proof begins with belief. Not the kind of belief that flickers when things get hard. Not the kind that depends on applause or validation. I'm talking about the kind of belief that burns in silence, that roars in solitude. The kind that Thomas Edison had when he failed 10,000 times and still said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's belief. That's the fire. And it's already inside you. But here's the catch. Most people never light it. They walk through life like ghosts in their own story, drifting, waiting, hoping someone will hand them a map to greatness. But greatness doesn't come with directions. It comes with decisions. And the first decision, the one that changes everything, is to stop waiting and start becoming. You were not born to be average. You were not designed to blend in. You are here to build, to rise, to shape the world with your vision. But vision without clarity is chaos. So let's strip away the noise. Let's silence the doubt. Let's get clear. What do you want? Not what your parents wanted. Not what society expects. Not what's safe or easy or convenient. What do you want so deeply it keeps you awake at night? What dream lives in your bones? What idea makes your heart race and your skin buzz? That's your compass. That's your truth. And clarity is the blade that cuts through confusion. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Imagine that. The man who built worlds from ink and wonder was told he wasn't creative enough, but he didn't let their blindness define his vision. He got clear, he got focused, and he built an empire from a mouse. That's the power of clarity. It turns rejection into redirection. It turns failure into fuel. But clarity alone isn't enough. You need purpose. You need a reason so strong it pulls you through the storm. Purpose is the anchor when the winds howl. It's the voice that says, keep going, when everything else screams, give up. Abraham Lincoln lost 8 elections, failed in business, suffered unimaginable grief, and still became one of the greatest leaders in history. Why? Because his purpose was bigger than his pain, bigger than his setbacks, bigger than his fear. And yours must be too. Purpose isn't found. It's forged in the fire of discipline, in the grind of repetition, in the quiet moments when no one's watching and you choose to show up anyway. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the skipped parties, the focused hours. It's doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize transportation because he had a good idea. He did it because he had relentless discipline. He failed multiple businesses, faced ridicule, but he kept building, kept refining, kept showing up. And that's what you must do, because action is the language of belief. You can speak affirmations all day. You can visualize success until your eyes blur. But if you don't move, if you don't act, nothing changes. Action is messy, it's imperfect, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Carnegie didn't become the Steel King by waiting. He took risks, made moves, learned fast, adapted faster. And that's the next truth. Adaptability is survival. The world will shift, plans will crumble, people will disappoint you. But if you can bend without breaking, if you can pivot with purpose, you become unstoppable. Adaptability isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing that the path to success is never a straight line. It's a maze, a storm, a battlefield. And only those who evolve endure. But even in the chaos, there's one force that grounds you. One force that transforms everything it touches. Gratitude. Gratitude isn't passive, it's powerful. It's the lens that turns scarcity into abundance, that turns obstacles into opportunities, that turns ordinary days into miracles. When you wake up and choose gratitude, you shift your frequency. You attract better, you see clearer, you move with grace. Even Napoleon Hill, who studied the minds of the most successful people of his time, said that gratitude was a magnet for miracles, that when you appreciate what you have, you unlock what you desire. But gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means seeing the beauty in the journey while still climbing the mountain. And climb you must, because resilience is the heartbeat of greatness. You will fall, you will fail. You will face moments that break you, but resilience is rising anyway. It's standing tall with scars and saying, "I'm still here." Frederick Douglass escaped slavery, faced unimaginable odds, and still became a voice for freedom. His resilience wasn't born from comfort, it was born from conviction. And yours must be too. Conviction is the soul's declaration. It's the inner roar that says, "I will not be moved." It's what carries you through rejection, through ridicule, through the long nights and lonely roads. And when you pair conviction with learning, when you become a student of life, of failure, of success, you become limitless. Learning isn't just about books, it's about awareness, reflection, growth. It's asking, "What did this teach me?" instead of, "Why did this happen to me?" Every setback is a seminar, every mistake is a mentor, every challenge is a classroom. And when you learn, truly learn, you evolve, you rise, you become. Because becoming isn't a destination, it's a decision you make every single day. A decision to rise when it's easier to rest, to speak when silence feels safer, to build when destruction surrounds you, and in that decision lies your power. Not borrowed power, not inherited, not gifted. Yours. The kind forged in the furnace of struggle. The kind that doesn't ask for permission. The kind that doesn't wait for applause. You see, the world is full of noise, opinions, distractions, expectations. But the ones who change their lives, the ones who bend reality to their will, are the ones who learn to listen to the quiet voice within. The whisper that says, "There's more in you." The echo that reminds you, "This isn't the end." That voice is your compass, your truth, your lifeline. And when you follow it, when you trust it, you begin to see the world differently. You stop chasing and start creating. You stop surviving and start thriving. But thriving requires courage, not the absence of fear, the mastery of it. Courage is standing in the storm and saying, "I will not bow." It's walking into the unknown with trembling hands and a steady heart. It's doing the thing that terrifies you because you know it's the only way forward. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't wait for the world to be ready. He spoke truth into chaos. He stood when others sat. He marched when others hid. That's courage. That's legacy. And legacy begins with vision, not just goals, not just plans. Vision, the ability to see what doesn't yet exist, to imagine a future so vivid it pulls you toward it, to dream in color when the world offers only grayscale. Vision is your blueprint, your architecture, your rebellion against mediocrity, but vision without action is hallucination. So you must move, you must build, you must become the architect and the laborer, the dreamer and the doer. And in that doing you will face resistance, from others, from yourself, from the world. But resistance is not your enemy, it's your mirror. It shows you where you're growing, where you're stretching, where you're becoming. The Wright brothers didn't have degrees in aeronautics, they had vision, they had grit, they had resistance, and they turned it into flight. That's the alchemy of greatness, turning pressure into progress. But progress isn't linear, it's messy, it's painful, it's filled with detours and delays. And that's where most people quit, not because they lack talent, but because they lack endurance. Endurance is the quiet strength, the long game, the refusal to give up when the results don't show. It's planting seeds in barren soil and trusting the rain will come. And when it does, when the harvest arrives, you'll realize something profound. It was never about the destination. It was about who you became on the way, the discipline, the clarity, the courage, the resilience, the gratitude, the vision, the purpose. All of it shaped you, molded you, forged you, and now you are ready, ready to rise, ready to lead, ready to live a life that echoes beyond your years. Because the truth is, you were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to play small. You were born to build empires of impact, to leave footprints in time, to awaken others with your fire. So wake up, not just from sleep, from doubt, from fear, from the illusion that you are anything less than extraordinary. Wake up and walk boldly into your becoming. Because the world doesn't change when you whisper, it changes when you roar. And when you roar, when you finally let the full force of your soul speak, you'll feel it. That shift, that tremble in the air, that quiet quake in the ground beneath your feet. Because the universe responds to conviction. It bends for those who move with purpose. It opens doors for those who refuse to wait for permission. But don't mistake movement for momentum. Momentum is earned. It's built brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. It's the compound interest of effort. The silent stacking of wins that no one sees until suddenly everyone does. Momentum is what carried Edison through 10,000 failures. It's what pushed Oprah through rejection and ridicule. It's what lifted Mandela through decades of imprisonment into the arms of a nation. And it begins with one step, not a leap, not a sprint. One step, because the mountain isn't conquered in a day. It's conquered in inches, in moments, in the decision to keep climbing when your legs shake and your lungs burn. And as you climb, you'll meet your shadow. The part of you that doubts, that fears, that whispers, you're not enough. But here's the truth. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. It shows you where you must grow, where you must heal, where you must rise. Face it, learn from it, transcend it. Because every hero has a shadow, every legend has a wound, every masterpiece has a mess beneath it. And still they rise, still they build, still they become. Because becoming isn't about perfection, it's about progression. It's about showing up broken and building anyway. It's about bleeding and still believing. And belief, true belief, is the most powerful force on earth. It's what turned a bankrupt cartoonist into a global icon. It's what turned a failed lawyer into a liberator. It's what turned a quiet boy from Kentucky into a president who changed history. Belief is the seed, action is the water, discipline is the sunlight, and resilience is the root. Grow deep, grow strong, grow wide, because storms will come, winds will howl. But if your roots are anchored in belief, you will not fall. You will bend, you will sway, but you will not break. And when the storm passes, and it always does, you'll stand taller, stronger, wiser. You'll look back and realize that every setback was a setup. Every delay was divine, every detour was direction, because life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. Every challenge is a call to rise, every failure is a forge, every heartbreak is a hammer shaping your soul. And when you embrace that, when you stop resisting and start receiving, you unlock a power that cannot be taught, only lived. It's the power of alignment. When your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your purpose all move in the same direction, you become a force of nature. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop forcing and start flowing. And in that flow, you find freedom. Not the freedom of escape, the freedom of embodiment, the freedom of living fully, fiercely, unapologetically. Because you are not here to shrink, you are not here to dim, you are here to shine, to illuminate the path for others, to awaken the sleeping giants around you, to remind the world what's possible when one soul decides to rise. So rise, rise with fire, rise with grace, rise with the knowing that everything you need is already within you. And when you rise, not just once but again and again, you begin to understand something sacred. Success is not a moment. It's a rhythm, a pulse, a way of being. It's not found in trophies or titles. It's found in the quiet victories, the unseen battles, the days you chose discipline over distraction, the nights you chose vision over comfort. Success is forged in the fire of consistency. It's the writer who pens 1,000 pages before one is published, the athlete who trains in silence before the crowd ever cheers, the entrepreneur who builds in the dark before the spotlight ever finds them. Consistency is the proof of belief. It's the evidence of purpose. It's the daily declaration that says, I am becoming, no matter how long it takes. And when you live like that, when you move with that kind of conviction, you become magnetic. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. People feel your energy before they hear your words. They sense your fire before they see your results. Because energy doesn't lie. And when your energy is aligned with truth, you become undeniable. But truth requires courage. The courage to be seen, to be misunderstood, to be rejected. Because not everyone will understand your path. Not everyone will applaud your rise. Some will mock. Some will doubt. Some will try to pull you back into the box they built for you. Let them. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them watch. Because while they watch, you build. While they whisper, you roar. While they wait, you move. And in that movement, you create momentum. You create mastery. You create meaning. Because mastery isn't about talent. It's about time. It's about obsession. It's about falling in love with the process more than the praise. Michael Jordan didn't become a legend because he was gifted. He became a legend because he was relentless, because he practiced longer, failed harder, rose faster. Mastery is the art of repetition, the science of refinement, the soul of resilience, and when you master your craft, when you pour your essence into your work, you become a lighthouse, a beacon for others, a guide for the lost, a reminder that greatness is possible. But don't forget, the lighthouse stands alone. It faces storms. It endures waves. It shines regardless. And so must you. Because leadership isn't about being followed. It's about being willing to go first, to walk into the unknown, to carry the torch when others drop it. Leadership is service. It's sacrifice. It's showing up when it's inconvenient. It's speaking truth when it's unpopular. It's choosing impact over ego. And when you lead like that, when you live like that, you leave legacy. Not the kind carved in stone, the kind etched in hearts, the kind that echoes in generations, that ripples through time, that awakens others long after you're gone. And that legacy begins now, not tomorrow, not someday, now, in this breath, in this choice, in this moment. So choose. Choose to rise. Choose to believe. Choose to build. Choose to become. Because your life is not a rehearsal. It's the stage, the spotlight, the show, and the world is waiting. But don't perform for the world. Perform for the truth inside you. The one that knows you were made for more. The one that remembers the dreams you buried. The one that still believes, even when you forget. Because belief is a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through resistance. Every time you choose faith over fear, it strengthens. Every time you act in spite of doubt, it expands. Every time you fall and rise again, it becomes unbreakable. And when belief becomes unbreakable, so do you. You stop negotiating with mediocrity. You stop entertaining excuses. You stop waiting for signs and start becoming the signal. You become the storm, not the chaos, but the catalyst, the force that moves mountains, the energy that awakens others, the presence that shifts rooms, because you've done the work, you've faced the mirror, you've walked through fire and found your voice, and now you speak with power, not volume, power. The kind of power that comes from alignment, from integrity, from knowing who you are and what you stand for. That kind of power doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it simply is. And when you embody that, when you live from that place, you become a creator. Not just of things, of reality. You shape your days. You bend time. You attract people, opportunities, and miracles that match your frequency. Because the universe doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to energy. And your energy is your responsibility. Protect it, cultivate it, elevate it. Surround yourself with those who speak life, who challenge your limits, who remind you of your greatness when you forget. Because environment is everything. You can't grow roses in concrete. You can't build empires in toxicity. You can't rise surrounded by anchors. So choose your circle wisely. Choose mentors who stretch you, friends who fuel you, spaces that inspire you. And when you do, you'll begin to notice something profound. Your life changes, not because the world shifted, but because you did. You stopped waiting. You started walking. You stopped doubting. You started deciding, and decision is destiny. Every moment is a fork in the road. Every thought is a vote for your future. Every action is a brick in your legacy. So build with intention, build with fire, build with the knowing that you are not here to exist. You are here to expand, to evolve, to awaken, because evolution is your birthright. You were not born to stay the same. You were born to shed layers, to outgrow identities, to rise through versions of yourself until the world finally meets the one you were always meant to be. And that version, the highest, boldest, most awakened version, is not found in comfort. It's found in challenge, in change, in the sacred discomfort of growth. Growth hurts. It stretches. It breaks what no longer serves. It demands sacrifice, but it also delivers power. The kind of power that doesn't just change your life, it changes lives around you. Because when you evolve, you elevate others. Your courage becomes contagious. Your discipline becomes a blueprint. Your story becomes a spark. And your story matters, not just the wins, the wounds, the losses, the lessons, the nights you cried alone, the mornings you rose anyway, the moments you almost quit, but didn't. Those are the chapters that shape you, the pages that define you, the verses that make your voice unforgettable. So speak. Speak your truth. Speak your pain. Speak your rise. Because someone out there is waiting for your words, waiting for your light, waiting for your example. And when you give it, when you live it, you become a mirror, a reflection of what's possible. A reminder that greatness isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's available to anyone who chooses it. And choice is the key. Not talent, not luck, not timing. Choice, the choice to show up, to do the work, to believe again, to rise again, to love again, to lead again. Every day is a canvas. Every breath is a brushstroke. Every decision is a color. Paint boldly. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for the world to validate what your soul already knows. You are ready. Not someday. Not when you feel confident. Not when the fear disappears. Now, in this moment, in this breath, in this heartbeat. Because life doesn't wait, and neither should you. So stand up. Not just physically, spiritually, emotionally, energetically. Stand up for your vision, for your voice, for the life that's been calling your name since the moment you were born. Because this is it. This is the moment you stop watching others live and start living your own truth. The moment you stop shrinking to fit and start expanding to lead. The moment you stop asking, what if, and start declaring, watch me. Watch me rise. Watch me build. Watch me become. Not for applause, not for fame, but because I refuse to die with my fire still inside me. Because I refuse to let fear write my story. Because I refuse to live a life that doesn't awaken my soul. And so I choose. I choose clarity over confusion, purpose over passivity, discipline over distraction, action over anxiety, gratitude over greed, adaptability over rigidity, resilience over retreat, learning over ego, courage over comfort, vision over validation. I choose to become the person I was born to be, not someday, not when it's easy, not when it's popular. Now, because now is all I have, and now is all I need. So if you're watching this, if you're hearing these words, let them sink into your bones. Let them awaken the part of you that's been waiting. Let them ignite the fire that's been flickering in silence. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not lost. You are learning. You are not behind. You are building. And every second you choose to rise, you rewrite your future. So rise. Rise with fire in your eyes and thunder in your chest. Rise with the knowing that you are the storm and the calm, the question and the answer, the student and the master. Rise because the world needs your light. Rise because your story isn't over. Rise because this moment, this breath, this heartbeat is the beginning of everything. Watch this every day, not to be motivated, to be reminded of who you are. what you carry, what you're capable of. Because when you remember that, when you truly remember, you don't just change your life, you change the world, and it all begins now.